Okay, so today I'm going to be covering food insecurity linked with binge eating disorder and obesity. This presentation was completed by myself, Pamela Heiners, and let's hope this recording works. This is like the sixth time I have tried. So, alright. So, I'm going to cover what is food insecurity, what is diabetes, how these are linked, and obesity linked with that binge eating that we see, the demographics that it affects, different with those, the age groups, income classes, rural versus urban, how stress affects that, and so on. So that's what we'll be looking at today. So to start, just what is food insecurity? Sorry about that, guys. Alright, the USDA defines food insecurity as a state in which consistent access to adequate food is limited by a lack of money and other resources at times during the year. Also known as like struggling to avoid hunger, at risk for hunger, for nursing diagnosis, faced with the threat of hunger. This is definitely something we see in low-income areas and densely populated urban areas as well. And I'll go into that more as we go. No, oh, jeez. Seriously, sorry. Okay, so this covers the food insecurity cycle. So low income levels really have to face those hard choices at times and stretch that monthly budget, a lot of times deciding between paying a bill versus buying groceries. They're definitely limited, on those grocery dollars of what they can purchase, and a lot of times those high calorie foods, low in nutritional value, are much cheaper, as we all know, versus the $5 salad versus the $1 burger. So they do tend to, households that face this, overeat when food is available. So when they do get, that income tax return check or food stamps does come in, but they tend to just kind of binge on very low nutrient kind of foods, sadly. And this kind of lifestyle leads to a lot of stress and anxiety, and it does open them up to a lot more disease processes because of that, and that links to those health implications. Stress is very, very hard on the body, and it does open you to those long-term implications: diabetes, type 2, typically hypertension, and of course the obesity link that we will keep seeing. A lot of times, just access to good medical care, medication costs can really throw a wrench in those kind of monthly limited household budgets as well. So they do kind of have a lot of choices to make in this circle of life that they're facing. So food insecurity is definitely not just an adult problem. We do see this a lot in children, and in fact 1 in 6 children suffer from food insecurity, so roughly 23% of kids. And that just opens them up as well to different health issues, headaches, upper respiratory infections, kind of that chronic upper respiratory stuff we see, anemia, just the lack of healthy nutrient-dense food, and stomach issues as well. So around 2% of kids that with this, they do have poor health because of this. So obesity, what is it? I think we all know, but it's a medical condition in which excess body fat is accumulated to the point that it does have a negative effect on your health. They are considered obese when their BMI, or body mass index, is over 30. So kind of the range between 25 and 30. Above that is like the morbid obesity and so on. So why is obesity such a threat in our society? There's been a lot of studies on this, as it continues to be an ever-growing problem. And a lot of what contributes to this is just fast food is so much cheaper. The price of fruits and vegetables is, 2 times that. And they advertise to kids, encouraging them to eat those kind of meals. They're around, especially in urban areas, just, a lot of like movie theaters and fast food places, vending machines, gas stations, and things like that. Kind of that social aspect, our dependency on, as I sit here filming myself, on technology, computers, cars, elevators. You're not walking down the street to get it. It's kind of just fast, convenient, drive up to a drive up. Family habits is a whole other topic of how, we kind of learn what we watch. And so if we're watching TV, with our whole family, when we're eating those foods, we tend to overeat when we do that. They've taken away a lot of activities in school, sadly. A lot of, sports and PE and things like that have been canceled. Of course, there's a risk, with parents that are obese, that are smokers, and who just lack that access to that healthy food. This is definitely a global problem. Just in the United States alone, and it's growing. 3 million people are morbidly obese. Another 40 million on top of that are just obese. And 80% of obese children become obese adults. This does decrease life expectancy, more levels of cancer, depression, mental health issues, and of course the cardiac issue. So around 58 million people in the United States alone are overweight, and of that, 78% are not meeting basic activity levels. So this kind of continues. Just obesity's effects on health leads to high blood pressure, heart disease and stroke, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, those fatty foods we're getting in there. The joint problem, just a lot of that extra weight on the body. Trouble breathing, so sleep apnea has been on the rise because of that. Gallstones, and some more of these here, just kind of like this graph. The pulmonary diseases, unable to ventilate properly, cataracts, diabetes, things like that, pancreatitis, cancers in breast, uterus, cervix, colon, esophagus, pancreas, kidney, and prostate. So really just cancer throughout the whole body. Phlebitis, gout, osteoarthritis, skin issues, and for women, all the just different gynecological abnormalities that are associated with obesity as well. So just to understand the connection between food insecurity and obesity, it doesn't necessarily cause that. The research just shows the link between the two. They do exist in the same environment because they have the same risk factors and social and economical challenges. Mix of individual behaviors contribute to this household factors, social and economical environments. They're just definitely complex and interconnected. I'm going to take a look at those a little bit more in depth as we go. And things as well as economic and environmental, food and energy prices, housing costs, unemployment rates also contribute to these as well. And so to continue with that, those households that are more likely to experience higher rates of food insecurity are the low-income households of African American, American Indian, and Hispanic households. This is linked to income as well as dietary choices and kind of that genetic factor. Households with kids, and also households that with someone with a disability.